on the show tonight to interview our special guest. Show highlight the Alford Sports Talk Show. The Alford Sports Talk Show. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, boxing, tennis, golf, and racing. The Alford Sports Talk.
Welcome everybody to another great episode of the Alford Sports Talk Show. So glad to have you join us today. We're going to have a fantastic, wonderful Friday night. Again, fantastic, wonderful Friday night. So glad to be with you. So glad to be doing this show. We are going to have a wonderful time. The phone number to reach us, 516-418-5572. Again, it's 516-418-5572. Feel free to go ahead and call in. You can chat right there on YouTube as well. And we're going to go ahead and do things big time here on the Alford Sports Talk Show. But before we get started, let's go ahead and thank one of our outstanding sponsors, I should say, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. Definitely feel free to visit my great friend Chef G's right here at beautiful Tampa, Florida, 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. And if you can't come down to Tampa, it's okay. Feel free to visit him at flbbqsauce.com. Again, it's flbbqsauce.com. Don't forget that wonderful sauce. 4 delicious flavors: honey mustard, heat wave, fusion, and classic. And if you want to go ahead and check out that's great. You can also check out the Florida Sand and Rub. Our man is doing things big time. In fact, I'm going to tell you guys something a little bit later on. I'm going to play a Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce song sang by none other than our wonderful musician, none other than Sam Scola Songs. That's right. Thank you, Sam Scola Songs, for all the music that you're going to hear here tonight. So let's go ahead, without further ado, play the Sam Scola song of Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce.
Comes in 4 varieties. Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, a natural flavor. Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, Florida Gold Honey Mustard on burgers and ribs. Tasty fusion on pork and sausage. Classic taste for chicken steak tips. A hot heat wave on meatballs and ham. It's a cookout treat. Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. Serve on fish and vegetables. Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce.
Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. So delicious and addicting, you may need a support group. Make sure you visit Chef G's right there at flbbqsauce.com. Again, it's flbbqsauce.com. And if you cannot visit him there, see him at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. Definitely, he'll appreciate you, just like I appreciate you guys too. And let's go ahead and let you guys know that there's going to be some great things coming on here. And 2024, we have the Women's Baseball World Cup begins Sunday in Thunder Bay, Canada. Thank you so much, Sandra Kimbrell. So that's going to be awesome. Make sure you guys check that out. Again, that's Sunday in Thunder Bay, Canada. Thank you so much, right? Really appreciate Sandra Kimbrell. She has a wonderful daughter that plays baseball, Anna Kimbrell. And that was somebody I was trying to hopefully run into in Cooperstown was Derek Jeter. You know, typical Derek Jeter style. I hate to say this. I really do. Now, forgive me if this was travel related. If it was travel related, because I know that there was a lot of power outages and they had the cyber issues where it canceled a lot of flights in Cooperstown. So much so that Pedro Martinez was supposed to be in attendance. He did not attend because of it. He got infected. So was Barry Bonds supposed to be in attendance as well. And a few other Hall of Famers were supposed to be in attendance that did not show up the entire weekend due to the cyber outage. Derek, on the other hand, did show up. However, he did not attend the parade. You know, I would have had a good opportunity to see him coming in the front, seeing him and get his attention. He did not come in the parade, but he was at the speech. And the reason that made it difficult was because at the induction speech, there's family, there's friends, and I wasn't as close, even the media, when they had the speeches. You could have gotten on the right-hand side. I could have got a better, closer, but I really didn't like the angle that we would have been in the media box, because somebody like Derek or somebody who was on the right-hand side of the stage, you probably wouldn't get a good angle seeing them on your video. So I took the spot that was further back, but you could see everybody on the stage. So I did not get a chance to get up close to Derek Jeter at all during the Hall of Fame weekend. Other Hall of Famers, that wasn't the case. There was quite a few that I had plenty of opportunities to get within arm's length of. Derek was not one of them because he did not attend the parade. He did show up to the speech. So that's what it was. And so I didn't get a chance. The reason why I bring that up is because I probably would have talked to him about conversations we've had with Anna, with Sandra, as well as Susan Supay. But it wasn't meant to be. And so another one bites the dust. I'll get another opportunity, hopefully in the future. And I just think that our time is coming, meaning I just feel as if me and Derek's time of crossing paths is coming. It just wasn't meant to be this particular trip. But, you know, hey, I wasn't going to let that stop my fun. You know, I'll dive into the Cooperstown in just a little bit. But major props to women's baseball. Major props to Sandra Kimbrell. It was awesome, you know, to see all of that beautiful display of the American, you know, girls baseball league and much more. It really was impressive. I love how Cooperstown and the Hall of Fame, how they make it so vast and so interactive. You know, I've been to that museum 3 times and I feel like I still haven't touched the surface. At least this time I was able to do a couple things. Like, that's one of the things about Cooperstown. It's so vast and so many things to do that I did feel like I did something new this time. I was able to enjoy the souls of the game this time around more so than the last time I was there. The reason being because the last time they were doing the unveiling of the exhibit, which was really cool. I got a chance to take a lot of pictures of the guys that were there. I was actually at the unveiling, which was awesome. However, the actual exhibit was so crowded. It was so packed. You had all the Hall of Famers. You had the media, all in the souls of the game. We were all trying to take it in. And it just was just crowded. You couldn't really sit there and kind of take in the museum at a slower pace. Nothing wrong with that. You know, I've never been to an unveiling of an exhibit in a museum, so it's something new to me. But this time around, when I went, it was a lot less of crowded, far less crowded, far more you can actually watch and enjoy the exhibit. When I go through a museum, I take my time. I don't go through it fast. I read the exhibits. So I was able to actually enjoy the souls of the game a lot more this time versus last time. I mean, I was enjoying it too, but it was for a different reason, getting pictures with guys in the Hall of Fame. Speaking of that, you know, it was amazing. I haven't put up some of the pictures yet. There was just so many pictures I've taken, so much video. That's why I'm trying not to spam it all with you guys in one shot. But for the girls baseball, that was really impressive. That whole display, and I really hope that it continues to grow the sport of women's baseball. Women's baseball deserves their own league. Not only do I think they deserve their own league, I think women's baseball deserves their own Hall of Fame. I really do. I just don't. I think that's nice that it's in the Cooperstown Hall of Fame, but I just think that as it grows and grows and grows, somebody who's willing to invest and got some deep pockets should consider having not only a league of their own, a Hall of Fame of their own. I really think that they should consider having their own standing Hall of Fame. I know financially it's just too much now. I mean, but hey, you never say never in life. That's what I think should be where the direction goes. And with great players like Anna Kimbrough, Ashton, that's doing big things, I see it possible. The Savannah Bananas, props to them as well. They had a beautiful display in there as well. It was an awesome thing to see Cooperstown again for the third time. It never gets old to me. In fact, let me go ahead and take one of our great callers here. Let me bring him on right now. Hey, how you doing?
Okay, I'm your Savannah Banana.
Hey, what are your thoughts about the Savannah Banana, Lou?
Yeah, I mean, I first thought it was a joke. Like, that's a real team. Okay, I get that. Now I get it. And then again, I don't believe about the Cleo Mudheads either. So, but I like the idea that that there should be a women's baseball Hall of Fame. And when if we learn anything from the movie A League of Their Own, which was a true story, I think that it should be well deserved. But you got to remember one thing. That's all I got to do.
Yeah,
Remember one thing.
what's that?
There's no pride in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball, but there was some teary eyes that I did witness during this Hall of Fame weekend. Maybe no crying on the field, but some of the guys did get choked up. They sure did. Joe Mauer, before he walked inside the Hall of Fame during the parade, he got emotional. Say again? Oh, let me just take this.
Yeah, well, you can tribute their careers, and Maurer had a great career.
He did. He did. I really do think the one person who didn't feel as if they deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, and I was surprised they said that a few times, was Todd Helton. He said that a couple times. I'm like,
Oh, you had that help. Jersey boy.
yeah, I just think that,
Jersey boy.
I just think, hey, at the end of the day, the number that matters the most is 75%. Not everybody gets, unanimous. And I think that's not even icing on the cake as far as I'm concerned. I think that sprinkles on the icing of the cake. The number you need to worry about is 75% or more. If you get 75% or more, you're a Hall of Famer. It doesn't matter at the end of the day what somebody might think. A hater might say you don't deserve to be in there. At the end of the day, you're on the wall. You're on the wall.
Speaking of someone who doesn't deserve something, I got one for you right now.
Okay.
I think you know I'm gonna go with this.
Okay. This is good.
Well, it's not baseball, but it's football.
Okay.
Because the Dolphins have probably pulled the biggest blunder of the week. Signing Tua to a 4-year deal worth for how much is he is not worth that kind of money. He's terrible.
When I saw that contract, it was $210 million. It wasn't no laughable contract for 4 years. For a 4-year deal. That is a mega deal for Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, that is just a mega deal. I will say this much. I'm more worried about his health than I am about that contract. I really am. Like, I think when you take away the concussion part and you look at his field play, Tua is actually a good player. But just the fact that he's so concussion prone, I think that's the part that really scares me more than anything.
I think him and Stan and Angus are related. They're always injured.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of bread. You're talking over $50 million a year you're giving him. That's just a lot of money.
They'll cover his health plan, that's for sure, because he's going to need it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his health insurance covered. And I'm not going to hate on this deal, because obviously they think he's not only their quarterback, they think he's going to be around to play for those 4 years.
Forget it.
Yeah,
Before, no.
that's a lot of bread. That's a lot of money. I mean, I was fine with the 4 year term. I think the 4 year term is fine. It's just the amount per year is staggering.
Especially for him.
Yeah, and he's a great player, but I just worry about that concussion stuff, man. It's just that's a scary situation. No money can replace your mental well being. I don't care. At the end of the day, your health is your wealth. Whether you make 100 million or 200, 300, it's still more money that you can really need to spend, I should say. Not that you can't spend that type of money, because history has shown we've seen some of these guys find a way to spend some money. Normally you would say you got $100 million, you could never spend that. I won't say that because these guys have proven that they can. But $100 million or even $10 million is more money than you really need to spend. You understand what I'm saying? If you
Absolutely.
if you have a good investor, you don't get ripped off, you don't make bad investments, you save your money, you definitely have enough money to live a very, very happy life. You don't have to really worry about insurance as much as most of us do. You can go splurge on a vacation if you just wanted to get bored and do something. You understand what I'm saying? You can live a very fulfilling life for that type of money.
Yeah.
So kudos to him for getting that deal, but I just worry more about the health than anything.
Okay, and one more, speaking of a deal. Just when you thought that we've heard it all and everything was all signed, sealed, and delivered, ladies and gentlemen, we came up with another problem.
What's that?
And for those of you paying attention to the NBA deal, just when you thought it was over, it's not. Of course. Because now, TNT is now filed a lawsuit. Oh, what a surprise. Like, you really think this is going to go down that easily? Ah, come on. I knew TNT was going to give a fight about this. They're going to drag us in court for quite a while.
I
You know what? But you know what? I don't think it's a bad deal, to be honest with you. Because, look, you're going to get more games over the air because, in addition to ABC, you're going to get more games when this deal comes in. NBC is going to do Tuesday night and Sunday night games. Okay, so Amazon's going to take the place of TNT for 66 games. Of course, I can get that money on a computer anyway, so no problem there. So I don't really think it's a bad deal. But, TNT, though, has been, the cable home for 40 years. And, there's a lot of griping going on, like, oh, well, YouTube is out of a contract and whatnot, so now they're going to fight it. So, the whole thing is, like, going to be just it's going to be like a big mess.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think there's more to the story than what TNT is saying. Meaning, what I think honestly, Lou, is that fact that I think that TNT was paying kind of slow, and I think there was more baggage that the NBA had to deal with other than just a contract. I just feel as if the NBA didn't want to deal with TNT because they said that they matched the deal, which I don't think they totally matched the deal. But you know as well as I do, Lou, if somebody comes in the ballpark and you really want to deal with them and you don't want to change, you would make the exception. But I just feel as if there's more to it. NBA, I don't think is really totally sold on TNT. Maybe they pay slow. Maybe they try to.
I mean, they've done it for almost 40 years, so obviously it has to.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad deal, like you said, because TNT is not going to match the money with Amazon. I mean, you're talking about a juggernaut of a company. Everybody, it's Amazon and everyone else. You understand what I'm saying? Like Amazon already got football. They got boxing now, Lou. They say they bought out HBO. They got boxing. They got football.
Yeah.
They taking over the game. And I know TNT can't match them dollar for dollar. No way. No way. So I think, you know what? Like you said, nothing is forever in life, unfortunately. Nothing is forever. And take it from me, from somebody who's actually had some great mom and pop restaurants that I grew up on, and unfortunately decades later went out of business. It broke my heart, but I understand in life nothing unfortunately is forever. That's just the sad reality of it. I mean, love and things like that are different, but when it comes to deals in corporate America, nothing stays forever.
No.
And I look at it like TNT, you had a great run. You had a fantastic run.
You did.
You had a same thing with HBO when Amazon did them. You had a great run. You make it 30 years in a business, being successful. You can't, you made all that money. You can't really hold your head down with that type of success. There's so many businesses that don't make it within the first 5 years, and you've made it
Right.
30 plus years. Look at Lou. Lou, my man Lou, has made it over 10 years and doing his media thing. It's not it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, unfortunately. Nothing lasts forever. And I'm gonna talk more about this subject later in the show too, but it's just it's sad, but that's unfortunately the reality of how business is. You got cars now that run off of batteries now. You know?
Yeah. But I don't see, yeah, because TNT, they're going to get more college basketball coverage as well. So they're not really losing anything. And then the fans shouldn't be complaining because you're not really losing any games either. You're getting actually more. Because you got two over-the-air partners now. You got ABC and NBC for the first time in a dozen or so years. They're going to be back. There's going to be one problem though with their introduction though.
What's that?
Well, the NBA thing they made famous, right?
Yes.
Well, now we got a problem.
Yeah.
Problem.
Yeah.
Those of you who are familiar with college basketball, they use that thing now. So now what do you do?
If somebody comes in the ball, yeah, I think they'll figure something out. It's money. They'll figure something out. And with the TNT crew, that was an outstanding show. That was an outstanding show. But you know what? You ran it for over 2 decades. No, I'm sorry, not just under 2 decades. That's a great run for any show. That's a great run. That's this.
It's not going to match the money with Amazon. I mean, you're talking about a juggernaut of a company.
And what was that?
Everybody, it's Amazon and everyone.
And not only that, they did have another problem too. Shaq is great. All the guys in the cast is great. But hey, when you have to renew their contract, it's not so great. Meaning, there's some big mega contracts in there. So I look at it as it's not a bad thing. I hope I agree with. Actually, I agree with Charles Barkley. I don't think TNT should sue Amazon for this because number one, I don't think they're gonna win. That's number one. They're gonna create some. It'll be a thorn in their side. They could give them some bad press and all of that. But I think at the end of the day, you're not gonna win. And number two, when you sue someone, a lot of people don't realize this. It costs you money and time. When you sue someone, it costs you money. The person who's suing, like if I'm suing someone else, it's costing me money to sue you because I have to pay that attorney. At the end of the day, I got to pay my attorney. And then time that I got to show up to court. It's time, energy, and all the things you don't want to lose.
Right.
I think it was a great run. I think TNT should just shake their hands and that's it.
I knew it's not going to go away easily.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money involved here. It's not as bad as CBS to ABC to whatever. They kept on CBS.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious. You're gonna be back Saturday, regular time, right?
Regular time, everything. Regular time, location, everything. Same time. We'll discuss this mess with the NBA. Their deal. Opening ceremony Olympics and 3 opening ceremony events that happened. So that did happen. Um, we'll also take a look at the first NFL preseason game, which is the Hall of Fame game, which is on next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll have that. We'll take predictions. But remember, during preseason, we do the predictions a little bit differently. I'll explain it next week. Of course, we'll also have wrap-ups of the British Open, the WNBA All-Star Game, which is a doozy, NBA Summer League. We'll take a look at some early MLB trades which are going on, and of course all the regular features, and of course the best and worst of July. And yeah, I've got a few.
Okay.
So regular time tomorrow, 4 to 6. Number 512-543-4662. Once again, 512-543-4662. But as I said last week, that was not a permanent switch. That was done just for other obligations I needed to take care of. But that's all taken care of now, so we go back to normal.
Oh yes, there you go, folks. It's gonna be Lou, the Enhanced Sports Show. Make sure you check it out on YouTube too. Type in the Enhanced Sports Show, and he's gonna be back same time, same bat time, same bat channel, Saturday between 4 and 6 Eastern Standard Time Zone. And his number again is 512-543-4662. Again, it's 512-543-4662. Make sure you check out the great Lou on the Enhanced Sports Show doing big things tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
We're getting back to normal here too. Because the past couple weeks, it had.
Yes. Definitely.
Everything's right on full cylinders again. Thank goodness.
Yes, everything is back. I'm going to talk more about that too. But yes, it was fun times, but sometimes it's great to be back home,
Yeah.
No place like home, as they say. I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you, Lou.
Yeah, it's nice to be back on the show too.
Yes, it is. It's nice to have you back and at regular time too. Yeah, last week I apologize, folks. Blog Talk was doing his thing, and I was on the road, and it was doing his thing and messing me up, and I kept trying to get.
Despite the fact it was Friday, we had a pretty good crowd.
Awesome. There you go. That's fantastic. Yep.
All right, until we talk again.
Till we talk again, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Good night.
Good night. Take care, Lou. Have a great weekend. Yeah, so that's the great Lou from the Enhanced Sports Show. Definitely between 4 and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Check him out. Again, that phone number is 512-543-4662. Again, that's 512-543-4662. I'm going to go ahead and talk some baseball news. Let me finish up about that. Cooperstown and a lot more. Before we do that, let me go ahead and share what Sandra Kimball had to share. Again, that's 2024 Women's Baseball World Cup begins Sunday. Yep, in Thunder Bay, Canada. That's right, guys. Make sure you check it out. Sunday in Thunder Bay, Canada. You have Japan, Taiwan, USA, Canada, Venezuela, and Mexico will battle for the trophy. And it's going to be great, great, great times there. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thank you, Sandra. So make sure they battle it out. So yes, back on Cooperstown, it was an outstanding trip. I'm, you definitely, if you haven't been to Cooperstown, I highly recommend you take time and you go to Cooperstown. Now, granted, it's not as easy to get to because it is kind of like in upstate New York and you have to go through some winding roads to get to it. And but man, it is worth the trip. And that museum is just awe-inspiring. It really is. It is 3 floors of just you walk in and you feel like you're walking in. Man, the baseball is it's almost like you get like the Field of Dreams, but it's a museum. And this time it was something new. I was able to, as I mentioned earlier, check out the souls of the game and kind of really take it in. And I also watched the 30-minute video. I wasn't able to watch 30-minute video last time because there's too much craziness going on. I was able to watch it this time around, and it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. The museum and making it to the Hall of Fame. They say that on the sign is just over 1%. I like to make a spin on it and tell you a way that I would like to explain it, and it makes a lot of sense and it hammers it home. In order for you to make yourself into the Baseball Hall of Fame, less than 2% of all major league players make it to the Hall of Fame. Less than 2% of the entire Major League Baseball players make it enshrined into the Hall of Fame. They say it's just over 1%. When I hear that, okay, that could be 1.5, it could be 1.3, it could be 1.7, it could be 1.8, it could be anything. That's why I say less than 2% make it. Less than 2%, because you're not going from one point something to 2. So less than 2%. And I cover my bases there. And I got to give props to Professor Carlins from USF, University of South Florida. He explains statistics and he breaks it down and he makes it very easy and understand. And he also makes it so that you could take it in. The thing about baseball, I know it's wrapped into a lot of statistics. What did you have? What were your numbers and all of that? If you want to make it to the Hall of Fame, this is what I would suggest. Number one, you got to start believing you can do it. You have to believe that, hey, if I put in the work, the dedication, I show up, show the results on the field day in and day out, do what I need to do to help my team and everybody who's around me better, I will be rewarded by being enshrined in Cooperstown. First thing is a belief. You have to have faith that you can do it. Second thing is you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent in order for you to make it to the Hall of Fame. You got to try to at least get 3 hits out of 10. 10 at bats, 3 hits. Just break it down. You got to be also a person that stays on the field. If you get injured, you got to play sometimes through some minor injuries. If it's something significant, try to heal up, get back on the field as quickly as possible. Go 7 days off, 17 days off, but get back in the game quickly. Got to be a person who has to stay on the field. You might get injured for a period of time, but don't milk it like some guys do. That's another thing you need to do. You also need to be continuously learning the game. Don't ever think that you know it all. Don't ever think you do the bomb and you bet in everybody, because you might be betting everybody for a year or two, but the players will catch up to you. Meaning, if you stay like a dinosaur, players and pitchers will talk and see, how do I get this guy out? What does he struggle? And they'll stick on that. You have to be willing to adjust and learn. Adjust and learn. And I would say if you want to make it to Hall of Fame, Joe Mauer had a 15-year career, and he made it first ballot. That is not the norm. I would say try to play at least a minimum of 15 years in the league. 17 to 20 or 22 is better, but you want to be somewhere in that range, at least 15 plus years. And not just 15 plus years of just nilly-dagging. You want to be 15 years plus a productive on-the-field play. Definitely when it comes to postseason, ball out. Ball out during the postseason. And when it comes to dealing with media, a lot of the media say, hey, I don't let that impact me whether I'm going to vote for you or not. And I would be the same way had I have a Hall of Fame vote. However, that in most times in life is the minority. Believe me and you, if you like someone and you admire them and you're a fan of them, you are going to be more enthused about them making it to the Hall of Fame versus they on the bubble and they don't make it. Oh, well, that guy was a jerk anyway. I'm glad he didn't make it. You don't need that on your plate. As much as I think Barry Bonds is a great player, I do feel as if he let somebody else's opinion impact his opinion on how he treated the media, meaning his dad. You know, I'm a father too, and I will say there's a lot of things I agree with my dad on. May he restfully rest in peace, but there were some things in life I didn't agree on. You can't let somebody's maybe poor experience impact your entire life the entire way. It's no secret, Bobby Bonds had not a great relationship with the media. They published some things about what he was doing on his private life or social life, whatever it was. He didn't like it. That trickled down to his son. His son picked up where he left off at and treated the members of the media even worse so. You know, sometimes you can't always take what people say for face value, even if it is your parents. For example, I'm just going to give you a quick story, real quick. One year I had to run a family reunion, right? And in my family reunion, I had like 3 or 4 committee members that we were all supposed to bounce off ideas and decide how we were going to run this family reunion. Make a long story short, the 4 committee members, all of us had no exclusion. We all had to pay our dues. This particular family member did not want to pay their dues, or they were paying it. They were trying to get out of paying, I should say, and begrudgingly paid at the very last moment. Well, guess what? Lo and behold, this particular person was telling their kids that I'm a bad person and I'm a jerk, and not just me, but just the members of the committee were not cool people. And you could tell their kids treated us, meaning me, and also the other members of this small little family community accordingly. They treated us accordingly, like someone would be in their head saying this person's a bad person, this person a bad person. And you could see in their behavior. Well, that wasn't the case. I've never disrespected the kids. I've never been mean to the other committee members or her or anyone else. But their parent was in their ear drilling this in their head, and that's how they treated us accordingly. But the crux of the matter was they just didn't want to pay. They didn't want to do their job. They were part of the committee. I had to pay, and I was part of the committee. You have to pay because you're part of the committee. You should be one of the first people to pay because you're part of the committee, not one of the last or the last. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can't take someone's word for their bad experience or their poor experience and kind of use that as fuel as to why I treat everybody like a jerk. That was Barry Bonds' downfall right there. Because if you treat people poorly, it will come back and bite you at some point, whether you like it or not, no matter how talented you are. So if you want to make it a Hall of Fame, make sure you are a good person. Make sure you get along with people. It's all about relationships. It's all about communication. You want to know one of the best people and most successful people that I've ever met that know how to handle the media great? And that name is Warren Buffett. I've had the pleasure of meeting Warren Buffett several times. That guy knows how to handle the media. He knows how to make the media work for him. That's why he's a multi-billionaire and a very, very intelligent man. You have to have good relationship with people. Media relationships, friendships, they're all relationships. Got to be able to manage that because it will come back to bite you, especially when your name's on the ballot. Or they'll say, ha, you didn't make it. Screw this guy. He was a bad guy anyway. He didn't want to give me an interview anyway. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. Because you want someone to feel bad that you didn't make it. This is your career. You want someone to feel like, hey, man, I put the work in. You should bless me with that vote. I'm telling you, man, it makes a difference when you treat people like crap and when you treat people nice. They don't forget that. They don't forget that. You know, mind you in life that, like they said, what your accomplishments that you've done in life, I might forget. What your stats are, I might forget, but I won't forget how you treat me. That's a quote from Alan Alford. I'm telling you, people don't forget how you treat them. Having said that, one place that will treat you like you're a rock star all the time, anytime you are in the market to go ahead and get yourself that beautiful home, my man Kurt McCray will take outstanding care of you. Whether you live in Texas, whether you live in Florida, you are in the market for anything that's related to a home, whether it be refinancing, renting, buying a new property, looking for, it could be something like you're looking for an investment of any sort as far as property. Kurt McCray can help you. That's right. Give CTC MEmortgage.com. Check them out. Or more if you want quicker firsthand service. Call or text Kurt McCray at 346-527-7564. Again, it's 346-527-7564. Let me go ahead and show you the man, the myth, the legend himself. Right there, Kurt McCray. This man here will take outstanding care of you on any property needs you might have. That's his face, that's his name, and his phone number. Kurt McCray, CTC ME Mortgage, 346-527-7564. Again, that's 346-527-7564. Start building equity today. And then he's going to go ahead and show you different financing options, a lot of different things that's available that you may not be aware of. Kurt McCray is definitely know everything about it. And not only that, you may not need a large down payment. He can help you with that. If you want to sell your home, turn your home equity into cash. Let's discuss those options too. So anything when it comes to homes, my man Kurt McCray can help you. CTC ME Mortgage will help you refinance your home too, and a lot more. Definitely give him a call. And in fact, we're going to play another great song by Sam Scholar Songs. That is none other than the CTC ME Mortgage song sang by Sam Scholar Songs. Enjoy that song right now.
CTCME Mortgage Company, they stand by their loyalty. CTCME Mortgage Company, you can trust their honesty. Make the call today. There's no extra fees to pay. You can take a loan to own a new home. CTCME Mortgage Company, they stand by their loyalty. CTCME Mortgage Company, you can trust their honesty. Get a low interest rate, there's no need to wait. Finance a payment plan. Kurt McCray is your man. CTCME Mortgage Company. CTCME Mortgage Company. CTCME Mortgage Company.
CTCME Mortgage Company. Make sure you give Kurt McCray a call, 346-527-7564. Again, that's 346-527-7564. Give Kurt McCray a call. And if you feel more comfortable, visit ctcmemortgage.com. ctcmemortgage.com. Really appreciate CTCME Mortgage for being a show sponsor. Check them out. They're going to take great care of you. Let me know how it all works out. So, yes, a lot more to going on here on the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show. And there was one question about the baseball that I did not answer. I did want to mention that to you guys. Are superstitions real? I don't believe in superstitions. I really don't. I know that baseball players will say, okay, and even in the speech, Todd Helton, he said it too. I mean, it's just I don't believe in superstitions. He said that if he went got a speeding ticket one day, got 3 hits that same day, he went the same speed, the cop gave him another ticket, he got 3 hits that day, and the third day, I believe he got 3 hits. But anyway, I don't believe in superstitions. I know that that's a thing that baseball players love, but that's not faith as way as I look at it, and that's not real life the way I look at it. Meaning, if I wake up at the exact same time, eat the exact same food, take the exact same route, it doesn't mean that I'm going to have the exact same result and success. You can take that same route and get caught in traffic. You can take that same route, and a lot of unfortunate things in life can happen. So I don't believe in superstitions. I definitely do think that if your instinct is telling you take this road to get home because you might run into traffic or it might be a bad neighborhood or something like that. I don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to go through a bad neighborhood so you don't do the same thing. I'm saying that I don't believe in superstitions that just because you did the exact same thing the day before that was successful, you're going to do the exact same thing the next day and be successful. I can give you a vouch for this. I was a top performing salesperson for many, many decades. And I could tell you if it was that easy or that same formula that I eat the exact same food, I would have a bunch of sales, or the exact same thing that I had the best amount of sales, maybe I would consider doing that. But I know reality is that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen that way. That's not real life. That's almost like saying if I do the exact same thing, I'm going to get the exact same result. So I control the universe by my actions. No, not at all. Alan is a man of faith. That man up there controls what actions happen, what don't happen, what you're going to be blessed with, what you're not going to be blessed with. At the end of the day, it's all based on what I feel faith. So, no, I don't believe in superstitions. I know that's a baseball thing, and I understand why players would say that. Hey, I had a successful day. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I understand why they say that, but no, I don't believe in superstitions. If you do what I told you earlier in this broadcast about making it to the Hall of Fame, if you're dedicated, you're committed, you are driven, you are creative, you get along with your coaches, teammates, and you're willing to learn. And also, another big component, which I didn't mention, is you got to be able to humble yourself. You got to humble yourself, meaning in order for you to listen to someone, first thing you got to do is humble yourself to listen to what they have to say with an open mind. And not all negative things said to you is all criticism, meaning there might be some things in there that will help your game out. Hey, man, you might want to consider moving up a little bit towards the pitcher because, or back because you're missing the pitch by just a split here. You might want to step a half a step back or maybe in a full step back because now that pitch that you're just missing, you might be hitting. I'm not saying you should change everything every single at bat because then you won't be successful that way, but be open to self-reflecting and critiquing. And I think you'll be successful. I really do. Definitely the guys that I had heard all of the speeches, they were all awesome. That's the unique thing about it was at the golf course, where it was thank you to the Hall of Fame for the entire blessing of the entire weekend. Really appreciate them giving it the Allen Alford Sports Talk Show media access. That's the second time I've done the event for the Hall of Fame. I'm really hopeful and praying that it happens to continue to go and I get that streak and beyond. The streak beyond is that I really do think that was a record I was growing up that I thought I could break and still feel to this day I can break and still feel it can be broken. It's Joe DiMaggio's record. So hopefully I'll start a record that's even longer than Joe DiMaggio's with going to Cooperstown and doing events for them. I did the East versus West game. I was able to go back 2 months later and do the Hall of Fame induction, which was awesome. They both were awesome, but they both, I'm going to tell you right now, were two completely different experiences. That even though it was the same bat time, same bat channel, this is another reason why I don't believe in superstitions. I did something awesome in May. 2 months later, I did something awesome for that same museum. They were both awesome times, but they were completely different. They weren't the same. East versus West game, I felt like you definitely had a lot more one-on-one time with the players to talk to them. With the Hall of Famers, it was awesome. You had some former players, and you had, that were hopefully going to make it to Hall of Fame or very good players, and you had Hall of Famers, so you got a wide variety. You had Monet Davis that was there. I miss seeing her. That was awesome. So it was just a different vibe altogether, I felt. This time around, ironically, besides the guys that were inducted, the 4 guys, you had some access to some of the other players, but not really quite as much, quite frankly. If it wasn't somebody who was not being inducted of the 4, the other players, it wasn't as, it wasn't like the East versus West. You had more access to some of the former Hall of Famers. That was a little bit surprising. Still had a wonderful time. Don't get me wrong, but it was a little different. So that's why another reason why I don't believe in superstitions, because I did the exact same thing. Meaning I went to the same place. It wasn't the same result. So it's case in point right there. And behind the scenes insight, I will share that with you guys. One of them I'm going to share, the other one I'm not. And one of them was that the behind the scenes was that hole 1. That was awesome because it was closed off to the public. The great thing about that tournament, the Hall of Fame tournament, is that they were giving out some really, really cool prizes that the Hall of Famers could have had an opportunity to win. But the interesting thing was the 4 guys to be inducted, they were just really nervous about that speech. To me, I've made quite a few speeches in my life. And when I say quite a few, I would say over 20 for sure. I mean, where big crowds, like executives, peers. I've had the pleasure of being a top performer, salesman for many, many years. So I literally wrote the book on sales. So for me with speeches, to me, that would have been hard for me to make a speech on just saying, yes, you don't want to, the main thing is you don't want to forget anyone, but delivering a speech, that would have been fun for me, man. I'd have made that speech interactive, stayed within a 15 to 12 minute time frame, and would have knocked people's socks off, man. I would have loved doing that speech. I know Todd said he wasn't a talker, but man, that's your time to shine. And he did an outstanding job. You know what? I think, Todd Helton, I just think that, all truth be told, that his wife wrote the speech. He delivered it, and he said he's not a motivational speaker, but you know what? Maybe you're onto something, and you got an untapped career move. You say the speeches, and your wife makes the speeches. There's nothing wrong with that, because look, when you're a Hall of Famer, and I know Todd doesn't think he's a Hall of Famer, which I think he should have already been thinking at when he was there. And I'll get into that a little bit more. But when you're a Hall of Famer, automatically you command respect from the room, meaning people are going to listen to what you have to say. They're going to tap into your wisdom because you made it. You're a symbol of success. So right there, you have already set the stage for success. All you got to do now is just deliver a great purpose and a great message. The hard part's already done, meaning the credibility part is already laid out for you. Sometimes when you don't know the person, let's say, or don't know their background, you may have to talk about your credibility. When you're a Hall of Famer, you already got credibility. You understand? You could just tell people I played 15 years for the Colorado Rockies. I was blessed to have made it to Cooperstown Hall of Fame. Right there, that's 2 sentences. You already got people's respect and you got their attention. They're gonna lean in. They're gonna do like this. Lean into what you got to say. Then you got your wife giving you the right words to say, and you got it. There you go. You got an untapped network right there, making motivational speeches or speaking at the young rookies at Colorado. Something. Hey, we've all heard motivational speeches, and just tell them your experience. Tell them what helped you in the major leagues. What did you do when things went rough for you? Maybe you didn't get a speeding ticket, or the cop was taking a day off and you got away with speeding. And what did you do that day? Did what happens in the 0 for 4 days? What did you do? What were your thought process? So just tell people what happened. And I think you'll be perfectly fine. So I think Todd's definitely should be thinking you're a Hall of Famer. You are a Hall of Famer. On that note, I was going to tell you guys, if you get 75% of the vote, is the big number right there. There are a lot of players that would do whatever they could to get that 75%. I think getting 75% or more is sprinkles on the icing of a cake. Meaning, yes, it's nice that, hey, I had 90% of the vote, 95%. And yes, there are Hall of Famers. I do agree. There's some elite players that, that guy's a Hall of Famer, slam dunk. But that's not going to be in all cases. We all have different talent, different levels of talent, different backgrounds when it comes to baseball. Some people picked up the game late. Some people didn't have the training. Some people don't have the physical attributes. That's what makes it different. However, one thing is uniform with everybody in the Hall of Fame. You had to have 75% of the vote. If you don't have 75% or more of the vote, guess what? You are not enshrined. The number that really matters is 75% of the vote. That's it. Because there are players who wish they had 75% of the vote. One last point on the Hall of Fame. As soon as you walk in, I had messed up the video a little bit. I apologize. Because the thing is like this. I'm probably going to still publish that video, but when I was looking at there was two big murals in the Hall of Fame. The one on the right has Honus Wagner. The one on the left has Ty Cobb. When I was watching the video, doing a vlog of it, unfortunately, I was thinking I was like, you were seeing the right-hand side of the video, and it was Honus Wagner, but it was the left-hand side. So I kept referring to Honus Wagner when it was Ty Cobb because it was the mirror effect. So that was my bad. But I'm going to publish that video anyway and just put this thing. I'm sorry, Honus Wagner was on the other side. And I know they're different. I know the difference between the two is just I got mixed up. But the reason why that vlog is so important is because of the fact that it had a character clause as soon as you walk in the entrance. Literally, you walk in the entrance, you walk straight. There's three fellas that are in bronze statues. That being Hank Aaron, Roberto Clemente, and was it Joe DiMaggio? Yes, I could be wrong on the third one. But anyway, right next to them was the character clause. The character clause states that in order for you to be enshrined, not only do you have to have exceptional talent and be great, you have to be a person of great character. And that's key because that's one of the attributes you're looking at for you to be voted in. If you don't have great character, I was telling you earlier, you got to be a good guy, okay? Can't just think because I can play really great, that's all that matters. No, that's not all that matters in life. Sorry. Having said that, in order for me to be at the entrance of Cooperstown, I had to travel. And that's right. And if you need to travel, guess what? Pushpin Adventures can help you. Pushpin Adventures can help you go to any destination of your choice, whether it be a destination wedding, a corporate event, group events, and a lot more. Pushpin Adventures can help you. You want to go to a beautiful island like this. You want to go to a desert. you want to go ahead and take a cruise, this cruise is available for you. Check it out. pushpinadventures.com, pushpinadventures /virgin. If you want to get details on this cruise, pushpinadventures.com /virgin. Monique can help you. Feel free to give Monique a call at 626-838-1006. Again, that phone number is 626-838-1006. Pushpin Adventures can help you with the destination of your choice. They specialize in this international domestic travel. Pushpin Adventures can help you. In fact, we're going to play another Sam Scola song, Pushpin Adventure song, right now on the Alford Sports Talk Show.
Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Book a trip with Pushpin Adventures. Travel on a cruise with Pushpin Adventures. Take a vacation with Pushpin Adventures. Tour around the world with Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Make a reservation with Pushpin Adventures. The best value deal with Pushpin Adventures. Plan a getaway with Pushpin Adventures. Escaping today with Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures. Pushpin Adventures.
Definitely give Pushpin Adventures a call. Give Monique a call there at 626-838-1006. Again, at 626-838-1006. Really appreciate and thank you so much, Pushpin Adventures, for being another one of our wonderful sponsors. Give them a call. Go to a destination of your choice. Let them know that you heard about us, about Pushpin Adventures from the Alford Sports Talk Show. Again, that phone number is 626-838-1006, 626-838-1006, or pushpinadventures.com. Thank you so much. And we're going to continue on with the great show. In fact, we got another fantastic caller. I'm going to go ahead and bring them on, and we're going to definitely keep the good times going here on the Alford Sports Talk Show. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing excellent. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
I'm good.
Oh, okay, that's great to hear. It's definitely always awesome to hear from you, and definitely, what do you think about the NBA and the fact that TNT is gonna be lost out? And definitely, what do you think about the NBA and the fact that TNT is yeah,
Lost out.
yeah. Obviously, the NBA feels the same way too. But yeah, it's definitely coming to an end. But you know what? Nothing lasts forever. But one thing that does last forever is
Obviously,
your
the NBA
great
future
team.
fades,
How do you think they're going to do this year?
but yeah, it's
The Bills.
definitely coming to an end. But you know what? Nothing lasts forever. But
Yeah,
one
that's what I love about training camp is that things are starting to heat up. The football season.
Yeah, same camp is the way for people to watch the players train and see how good they'll be. Huh?
Yeah, you're right about that. I was able to go to the Bucks training camp on Thursday, and they already practicing really well. Bucks look great, and
Who are the
you know,
you were in Florida?
yeah, I made it back. I made it back from Cooperstown, so thankfully, it was a fun trip, but it's as I say, there's no place like home.
Yeah. Is that why they were in their show last week?
Yeah, that's where I did the show was in Cooperstown. It was fun and cool, but I had to do like Lou. I had to change the time a little bit. I had to move it up 2 hours, just because
Oh.
I had instead of it being normal time like now, I had to move the show up because I was gonna have access to the media room to do the show. But lo and behold, guess what? They had made changes schedule, and I wasn't able to do it in the spot that I thought I was able to. So I still did it, but it wasn't as visually appealing as I wanted it to be.
I wish I knew that other because there's no reason to hang out. I wish I knew that otherwise because I tried calling them the usual time and there were no show schedules.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just Blog Talk didn't cooperate with me. And it almost feels like, when I do traveling, that's one of the weak links is the Blog Talk. It doesn't seem to work as good when am away from home.
Okay.
But, I appreciate you trying to get to me, and I appreciate you tremendously. You're awesome.
Thank you. So are you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. So, best wishes to the Bills. I'll keep posting anything that they do here on the Island Alfred Sports Talk show.
Okay.
All right. So you have a wonderful weekend, and I'm looking forward to speaking to Lou and hearing from you tomorrow too.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. Really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Have a blessed night and a blessed weekend.
You too.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye
You're
now.
welcome.
Bye now.
You too.
That's awesome. So definitely, it's always a great. I had a fantastic time in Cooperstown, but as I mentioned, to you guys, it's good to be back home. It's no place like home, and I appreciate you guys traveling with me. I feel like when I travel, you guys come along with me, and that's always awesome. It really is. I really enjoy, and I gotta really thank you guys because you've really opened up the doors for these opportunities. It's amazing that it just goes to show you, as I was mentioning earlier, you got to be cool with people. Even if you're great at something, believe me, in you, if people like you and admire you, they will go the extra mile for you. If they don't like you, they don't care for you, they'll laugh when you fall, and they won't go. They'll try to go an extra mile to make sure they hate on you, and too much of that will affect you. It will affect your performance, and it will affect you getting to that level. So be a great person. Great. Judge probably people by the content and character. And there's a lot to go on here with the Allen Alfred Sports Talk show. And I'm going to talk about the NFL and UFL moves. I'm just glad that the hands brought that up because, look, props, major props, to talk NFL, and we could also kind of crosswind that. I love the fact that the UFL players are starting to trickle in very fast now. It seemed like a surge with opportunities with the NFL. I know it's not a guaranteed opportunity when you get brought into camp. That's just the nature of the beast. For example, I was mentioned to you guys, I went to training camp on Thursday. Major props to Brian Ford, the COO of the Bucks. He took a picture of my son. He recognized me. I did the cut and cure the cures the pancreatic cancer, and that was awesome. And that event for the Bucks, cut and cure feeds the cure. So I know I got that flipped up, but I'm telling you, the reason why is because I'm so excited about. I went to Bucks camp. It was awesome. It was packed. There was a lot of people, and it was hot. It was a hot, humid day in Tampa, but people made the most of it. Brian Ford stepped up, took a picture of my son, and he gave a Bucks pin. The Bucks gave away towels too and water, and they also gave away those nice little quarter frozen freezer, little drinks, and that was cool to keep you hydrated because it's hot is one thing in Tampa, but that humidity, it just you got to keep drinking that water or staying hydrated, drinking water, drinking something because you'll feel dehydrated after a while because it's just you feel like you're in a sauna and it just sweating you through you. Water is just, but it was awesome. The guys look great. I didn't put up the pictures yet. I am going to put it up, but I do want to finish putting up the Cooperstown pictures just because that's just the flow of how the information is. I did get that first, so I kind of want to put that out, but I am going to put that picture up really, really soon. And not only that, there is a couple of really cool, like the grand finale of the Cooperstown is coming up. I don't want to go ahead and spoil a surprise. You have to wait and see. So stay connected to the social media on Alan Alford. But yes, big props to Brian Ford doing his thing, mingling with the fans. Great to see. And I'm going to make sure you guys know this on the show, UFL News. Hakeem Butler got signed by the Bengals. I had set literally 2 weeks ago, put up a post. Where is this guy signing? Because, hey, if you have the coach saying that he's going to talk to some NFL teams about you, somebody got to step up. The guy's a UFL Offensive Player of the Year. I'm glad he got his deal. I'm also just excited and really cool that Sal Cannella got a deal with not only the team that I saw on Thursday, which is the Bucks, and on Thursday, the UFL sent me that press release. So I wanted to say it on the show. I'm also going to post it up too. But yes, when I say post it up, I'm not going to just copy and post up a picture. I'm going to say, hey, with the interviews that I've had with Sal Cannella, it's awesome that he is getting his opportunity in the NFL. I know he's had some before, but he deserves that opportunity, and he deserves, I believe, to make an NFL roster. I really do. So do I feel about Hakeem Butler. These guys can ball out. These guys are ballers, and they have definitely earned the right. So I'm glad to hear about those two signings. Glad to hear about any signing of the UFL, but those two guys have actually had, I feel like, definitely Sal Cannella, because I covered the Arlington Renegades. I've had the pleasure of interviewing quite a few times. But also Hakeem Butler, when I talked about him in the presser. See, that's another thing. When I ask questions in a press conference, it's a lot of times to bring awareness to something. And that awareness is, hey, don't forget about Hakeem Butler come off season because I want you guys to make sure you keep an eye on him. So I'm going to post those things up. Props to both of them. Congratulations. In fact, let me give them a round of applause. That is awesome. I'm glad to give him that round of applause. Yes, Sal Cannella signed with the Bucks on Thursday. Thursday was a day that I had went ahead to the Bucks Stadium. Props to Brian Ford taking a picture of my son. That was awesome training camp. And props to Hakeem Butler. I also made sure that I plugged the ears that hey, I'm gonna post that up too. So that is awesome. That is really, really awesome. And I'm happy for them. And also all the other guys getting signed. Aaron Rodgers back in camp. I'm glad he's back. Justin Fields, see, he's back there too. He's with the Pittsburgh. So it's gonna be an interesting offseason. And again, Tua, I'm not hating on the deal. I just hope my man makes it to the end. I really do. Your health is your wealth. So I hope it works out for him. And let me just talk a bit about the TNT loses deal with you guys. And yes, and I don't think it's a bad thing. And I was telling you guys earlier in the show that I do feel as if there's something more to the story. Meaning, TNT said that they matched Amazon deal, which I don't buy that. I don't think TNT can match Amazon's deal. With all due respect, Amazon is got buku money, and the only thing they haven't done yet is print money, and I believe they probably gonna find out a way to do that too. They bought rights for the NFL. They bought rights for boxing. Here they go with NBA. It's a juggernaut of a company. And I will say this much. I don't believe TNT matched the deal, but I also do feel even if they did match the deal or came close to the deal, you could tell the NBA wanted to move on from TNT. I think there's more to it. Either the NBA doesn't like some of the broadcasts, that they want to change direction, and or TNT might be on the slow pay, meaning they might be paying, but they might have a lot of rules and regulations or stipulations or all that. I do feel as if there's more to the story than just money when it came to the NBA and TNT. Having said that, you know what? In business, nothing is forever. You made it over 20 years. You had a great run, great show, especially in show business. It's so much ebb and flow with that. There's so much, you can only stay popular for so long. You can only stay funny for so long. The fact that you were at the top and you're going out on top, that says a lot. I agree with Charles Barkley in this end that you shouldn't sue. It costs you money to sue. It costs you time and aggravation. And at the end of the day, TNT is not going to win. A deal's a deal. You had a time frame. The contract is going to expire. If they don't renew your contract, it's almost like if they don't renew your contract of anything, it's almost like, unfortunately, your contract is expired and you're terminated or you're fired in a way. That's just the reality of contracts. They have an expiration date. When the expiration date comes, that's it. Nothing's forever. Take it from me. Just a quick story. I had a, Arch Diner. Arch Diner in New York, Brooklyn, New York. It was right. I could walk there and be there within 5 minutes. Outstanding food. That's the same restaurant that me and my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, we used to eat breakfast almost every day. When I was single, I used to go out to the club. I could always count on Arch Diner for some great food at any time. Breakfast, morning, lunch, dinner, 24/7. Always slamming. The owners knew me. I knew them. I mean, you're going back over 30 years. Let's see. Over 35 years. But unfortunately, the last time I was in New York, rumors were that it's going down, it's going out of business, and it was true to word. I saw them. It was completely, the sign was still there, but the lights were off, and basically it said on the door, we went out of business. You would never thought that would happen. Never foreseen it. Thought it was going to be there forever. unfortunately, it wasn't there forever. And there's been quite a few other businesses that I've met and known, and probably not that long of a tenure, but nothing is forever, unfortunately, in life. Like I have a 96 BMW 850 Ci. In the 90s, that car was the bomb. If you had it, it was like having a Ferrari, having a rare, expensive car. It's very rare now, but guess what? It was only in production about 5, 6 years, and that's it. Now, if you have the car, which I do, thankfully, it's very, very difficult to source parts for it. It's that's one of the most difficult thing about that vehicle is that it's hard for you to get parts. If you take it to the dealership almost can't help you because it's so old in the year in the production that it was so far advanced that even guys to this day, new mechanics who don't know about that vehicle, an old school car, won't even be able to touch it. So it's hard to get somebody to work on it, and then getting parts. You don't usually get parts the next day or 2 days later. They have to be ordered from Germany, or you have to source them through used parts or check online. Your best source is eBay and other websites and networking with people and BMW forum so you can get a used part or substitute part. And that's not always the case that you can, but usually you can, if you're willing to dig, you'll find something. But that's what it is now. Not forever. Things are not forever. And to have a run like that with a show is outstanding. The only thing I would disagree with, Charles, kind of like adamantly disagree. Yes, that's really cool that you sign a $210 million contract and a 10-year deal. And you are going into, well, basically you're going to finish 4 years of that deal. No, you don't get to get a buyout for all that money without doing the work for 6 years. Meaning, what's probably going to happen is TNT is going to revisit your contract and give you what's called a severance pay. They're probably going to give you a nice package that will include some of that remaining balance that you lost, but it won't be $210 million. I think that's fool's gold thinking you're going to get that type of payday without doing the work. They're probably going to give you what's called a buyout package, adjust the fund somehow, give you a check, a severance check with that, and say you're on your merry way. Maybe instead of $210 million, they probably will settle somewhere at the $100 million mark, give you that, and just say, hey, we shake hands. You go your way, I go my way. You got $100 million out of, or $105 million out of year 4, instead of being halfway through. So you got basically a year for nothing, and they get to cut ties, or they'll give you 120, something like that. They're going to offer you a buyout deal, or not even offer, they'll probably give you that, and that will more than likely be it. It's not y'all messed up. That's business. The NBA saw the new kid on the block. Probably like, hey, these guys pay kind of slow, or they were like, these guys have all this contingency, and I don't like this, and I don't like that. This guy looks real good. He's got the deep pockets. I know he gonna pay me on time. There you go. There you go. So even if you match the deal, you'd have had to probably come up with more money, and you just can't. Which I don't think they match. I doubt it. And if you did match them, you're not gonna outbid Amazon. So take it on the chin. You had a great 35 years, great run. It is what it is. It's business. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but if you make it 30 plus years, you've done fantastic. HBO, same thing. And you might say, what causes things to go out of business? Well, it's a few things. People change, people taste change, people's demographics change, people's likes change, people's creativities change, people wanting more changes, greed changes, money, a lot of things go into play when it comes to business that can hurt you. So that's what it is. As the world turns, things change, and that's sometimes not a bad thing. Like, I have a lawnmower that is battery operated. And the cool thing about it is I don't have to do any oil change. I don't have to check the spark plug. All I have to do is make sure the blade is sharp, and that's it. Make sure I plug it in when I'm done with it. And maybe, as time goes on, you may have to replace down the road some batteries, but it's not nowhere near as loud. So that's, there's a trade off. You got to take the good with the bad. People's taste change. Like now, if you have a gas powered mower, you may have to start getting a little, not even now being worried. You may probably already were worried. You're like, man, I got to produce gas powered lawnmowers. People going electric now. They don't want to deal with the spark plugs. They don't want to deal with the gas. They don't want to deal with the high maintenance every year. They like the convenience of the power of electric, and it's sometimes has more power and it can cut even faster. So give it a few more years. Even the guy who did work on the lawnmower for me that was gas powered, even he said, you know what? I got to start learning how to work on those electric ones because that's where it's headed. All electric. So people's tastes change, desires change, convenience changes. So that's why if Amazon continues to be innovative, it's going to be hard for them to beat them. Because this is what Amazon does. They'll fire the robots. Hey, man, you're fired. We got to go ahead, just like in Terminator. The Terminator, not to go into the whole story, but for those who don't know, but the Terminator was a T100 model. Bad to the bone, T100 model. But guess what? 5-10 years down the road, there was the T1000. The T1000 ran rigs over the T100. The T100 cannot beat, realistically, the T1000. Of course, the T100 was very creative. He was Arnold Schwarzenegger, did his thing, but even he said, that T1000 bad to the bone, man. I can't mess with that. But he found a way. But that's usually, that's how they say in the movies. But this is what Amazon does. After so many robots, hey, man, you're fired. You're fired, robots. They fire the robots. That's how Amazon got stuff on lock. They don't fire the people anymore. They fire the robots. Like, you know what? You doing things kind of slow now. We need you to do this in 5 minutes, not in 6. So guess what? You guys are all fired. We're going to bring in the new robots. And that's what they do. So that's why I don't think TNT matched that offer. I highly doubt that. They said that, but I'm not buying that. And if you did, Amazon was going to come in with a higher offer anyway. So you just waste your time taking them to court. Contract's up. Gig is up. I hate to say it's time to move on. It's as the song says, in Boys to Men. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. And I get it. There's been a lot of things I said, man, I wish they would do this thing the way they used to. Or this didn't change. I just didn't evolve. But the reality is things are evolving. You know what was the best lesson for me about things evolving? And I'm glad I picked up on this as a young kid, was when I used to work at Radio Shack. I used to sell them old school Tandy computers and those big cell phones you see in New Jack City. And I was very successful at it. But one lesson that I always noticed, even back then, when you would buy a computer, not even 4 months later or 6 months later, they would have a new model. And that new model had one better feature than the one prior to it. Sometimes multiple features better. But you would always say, man, I love that new feature. That was smart. So the old one, you kind of like, I'll buy the old one, but you're going to have to give me a deep discount because no matter how much cheaper you give it to me, it's still not going to have that one extra feature that one does have. And I may have loved that new feature or not, but it's still never going to have that feature. So you being the top seller, you give that deep discount and you buy it. But I realized that technology was changing. 4 or 5 months later, we had a new computer in, and it always had one new feature in it, sometimes 2 or 3. But when you realize what that new feature was, you wanted it. You're like, oh, I love that new feature does this. And sometimes it'd be a new feature like, I can live without it for now. I want this old model now for a deep discount. Same thing with the stereos. Same thing with things in the cell phones. They made them smaller. They made them a little better. battery life longer, whatever that one feature was, it always got either a tick better. Usually it would be a feature or two, but it was better. People would always want it. And that's what it was. I could see it changing. Time was changing right in front of my eyes. They had the old school big computers. When I left, they still had, still was behind the curve because it was Radio Shack. But the computers, the models did look a little better at least, and they did slowly but surely did improve. Things change. Things change. And that's another thing in business. You have to be willing to change with the change of time. And if you're not, or if you don't move quick enough, you'll be a dinosaur real fast. But, 35 years of having a relationship with the NBA is outstanding. I don't feel like they should have anything to feel bad about. There's such things as appreciation, gratitude. You had a great run. Things don't last forever. Even the Bulls. The Bulls had a magnificent run. 2 3-peats. But even then, business was a thing that closed that deal, was business. I don't want to keep paying you guys all this money, was part of it. Also, ego. Whether you believe more ego got involved than money or point part, I believe in the Bulls thing, it was half and half. I think it was half and half. I think it was ego messed them up. Maybe I'll even say 60-40. 60% ego, but I do believe 40% had to do with money too. I think at the end of the day, they had all these mega contracts they had to renew. And it's a lot easier to say just pay them all the money they want. In any business, there's a bottom line. You need to make some type of profit. Yes, it's like this. And sometimes making a little bit of profit or some profit isn't worth it to you. Like, for example, a guy designed a pool for me, right? We went back and forth on the price, but at a certain point, he said something interesting. He goes, this price here is the lowest I'm willing to sell it for and the lowest I feel comfortable doing a deal for. Meaning, if I go any lower than this, I'm not going to enjoy doing the work, and it's not going to be really feasible or fun for me because now I feel like I'm getting to do this job for little to no profit. So the reason why that's important is that at some job, at some jobs, you get to the point where it's like, okay, yeah, I can make a little bit of profit. Is it really worth to me? Sometimes it's not. And they were like, you know what? That person got the bigger, deeper pocket. They're going to probably pay me right on time, whatever. I'm going to go with them. So obviously NBA wanted to turn the page. But with Chuck thing, that's wishful thinking. Chuck is going to probably get offered a severance package. And I suspect that's what's going to happen to the rest of the people there. With the Chicago Bulls thing, I think it was ego was 60% of it. But I also think Jay Reinsdorf didn't want to pay the money. I think he knew that he had to take care of Michael. He knew he had to take care of Scotty. He knew he had to take care of Dennis. You know what I'm saying? That's why not even just in basketball you see dynasties break up, because the cost to run the circus, run the business has went up. And yes, we're winning, but I'm making a smaller profit because I'm paying all the workers, so much money. They already had 3 years of winning. So yes, you already know, you can look at the numbers. How much would it be if we sell out X amount of games? How much would it be you sell out the playoff games? You understand? They can monetize those records, especially when you're winning all the time. You're going to make, let's say, 22% profit. Now that you got to pay all the guys and make sure they come back at high dollar figures, instead of you making 22% profit, even if you have successful ticket sales or the same exact ticket sales or even 10% more, instead of making 22% profit, that might get down to about 15% or 16 or 12. And then at that point, you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. If I dismantle a team, instead of me making a 12% profit or 13 or 14, I dismantle a team and let's say we bring in just 30%, I might be able to do the numbers and get a 17 or 18% return with not as great of a player team, but just kind of living off the high, I might get a 17% profit versus a 10 or 11. Some businesses, they look at that and they're like, you know what? I'd rather have the 17% profit, or I'd rather have the 20% profit versus the 15% or 14%. You know, some are not willing to pay the cost for success. Success has a cost. And they're like, you know what? I'd rather take my 19 or 18% with a team that doesn't make it than a team that does make it, and I'm only going to get 12%, 11%, or 10%, or even 14%. It's not enough meat on the bone. Believe me, that played a factor in the Bulls too. So it wasn't just ego, I believe. I believe it was financial too. You know, so business doesn't last forever. Things don't last forever. Everything has a shelf life, unfortunately, except things like that are eternal, love, faith, things like that. But when it comes to business, nothing I've learned in business is forever. That's just the reality of the situation. And, you know, case in point, my guy, my good guy, has a great time to talk about my man, Sam Scola. Thank you, Sam Scola Songs and the beautiful wife, Mary. Awesome people, awesome songs. Happy belated birthday to Sam Scola. Happy birthday, Sam Scola. In fact, let me play that song. Let me give him a round of applause. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday to Sam Scola Songs. He's the songwriter of all those great songs you hear tonight. That is the man, Sam Scola Songs. You can go ahead and find them on YouTube and Spotify. Here's another reason why I say things don't last forever. The great thing about Sam Scola is that you could play some of his songs on Facebook and Instagram through Song Trader. That was a cool and awesome thing. Notice I said was. Unfortunately, because of Meta and quote unquote copyright infringement, or at least they don't want to take a risk of that, they unfortunately have pulled Sam Scola Songs. So if you notice in the stories of Facebook as well as Instagram, I don't include Sam Scola Songs anymore. It's because I can't. I search them, I can't find them. They're no longer available, unfortunately, due to Meta, because of quote unquote song copyright infringement. Maybe in the future, but for now, they're no longer there, unfortunately. So you have to find Sam Scola Songs on YouTube and Spotify. No longer it's available on Facebook and Instagram. Again, you know, things don't stay the same. Thank you to songwriter Sam Scola Songs and his wife Mary. Appreciate you. And if you want to sign him to that big contract, just like Amazon and the NBA did, sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Sing along with Sam at gmail.com. Make sure you check him out. Give him that big contract. And one person who usually does get a big contract and has been for some time now is Jake Paul. Jake Paul got the win. It did not surprise me. He knocked the guy out. You know, he wasn't fighting a boxer. I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't feel as if a beginner boxer or somebody who's just getting in game or just been boxed for a little period of time is going to beat Jake Paul. I just don't. I think Jake Paul's gotten better and better. He's been training, putting in the work. A beginner is not going to beat him. You have to be somebody who's intermittent or very good, has to beat him, and you have to have boxing skills. You have to outbox him, which is easier said than done, because I don't feel like if you just do some like beginner type moves and stuff like that, I don't think it's going to work. I think Jake Paul's going to get you. He's improving, so much so that I do think if and when he fights Mike Tyson, I believe Jake Paul's going to win. I don't think it's going to be a knockout, but I just think that I see Jake Paul winning a fight via decision. You know, like Mike Tyson, I love what he's saying. He's saying, hey, Jake Paul's been active. Jake Paul is younger. He's 27. I'm 60. I know I'm a better boxer than him, but you can't take your competition for granted. Even Mike Tyson seemed like he did not seem like he was giving Jake Paul his respect. Like you could tell that Mike Tyson was like, yo, I got to come in here and fight this guy like as if he's a Vander Holyfield type thing, like in his prime. Because much I love Mike Tyson, that was Mike Tyson's kryptonite. More so than the other guys who beat him. The one person who I feel and still feel to this day and felt that was Mike Tyson's kryptonite was Evander, the real deal Holyfield. Evander, the real deal Holyfield. The reason why I say it was his kryptonite is because Evander was just a better boxer than Mike Tyson. He was just a more skilled boxer, meaning he could throw the jab really well. He actually is a taller than what people think. He's strong. He fought Mike the right way. He didn't back down from Mike. He kept throwing the jab. He would throw the uppercut, landing some very, very good shots. And he couldn't beat Evander Holyfield. He lost him pretty bad the first time. The second time, Mike knew he was losing a fight again. And quite frankly, with all due respect to Mike, he was outstanding, who I feel as if in his prime is one of the top 5 ever. Mike Tyson knew he was not going to win that fight, and he took the easy way out. And how do you take an easy way out if you're a boxer? You do something to disqualify yourself. And so not only did he bite him once, crazy thing is he bit him, and the late, great Richard Steele did not want to call a fight so bad, he let the first bite go. He let it go because he knew that nobody wanted to see a DQ. But normally, that one offense would have gotten you disqualified. They let it continue with the one bite. And what does Mike do? He bites him again. Mike was looking for an easy cop-out, and he was frustrated, and he was just all bent out of shape. He was looking for a cop-out. He's like, I can't beat this guy. I'm going to get him another way. Let me get at this fight because I don't want to take another L, loss, fighting him the whole fight and then end up with a loss. Let me just pull the plug right now because I'm not going to win anyway. And he DQ'd himself on purpose. The frustration got the best of him, and he's like, okay, I'm going to take the easy way out. As much as I love Mike, he took the easy way out and bit Evander twice. And that second DQ, he forced Richard Steele's hand. And, he forced the ref's hand. Not Richard Steele, I'm sorry. Yeah, and he did. And he got DQ'd. And we all know the pandemonium afterwards. But a beginner boxer's not going to beat Jake Paul. And I love the fact that Mike Tyson giving him his props, but it should be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised. I have Jake Paul winning the fight. I do. It's not that Mike Tyson's not the man. He looks great in the gym. But I just feel as if he's going to tire out sooner than Jake Paul. And I feel as if at that point, Jake Paul will find an opportunity to hit him. That's one thing about Mike Tyson. He was a great boxer, great defense. But as Mike Tyson got towards the end of his career, he was slacking quite a bit on defense. And he was becoming more of a straightforward type target. Just because, as you get younger, you don't bob as much. It takes a lot of energy to move your knees, bend, and all that. You get a little lax. And Mike did that as he got older and time went on to the end. So I feel as if Jake Paul will have some opportunities to connect. And I have Jake Paul right now beating Mike Tyson. Until something changes, that's my prediction. But yeah, that's my prediction. This weekend, folks, it's going to be fantastic. In fact, let me talk about this right here. Thank you so much, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce, for being one of our outstanding sponsors. Guess what, folks? On Sunday, I'm going to be hanging with the one and only Chef G's. I'm going to be covering right there at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Cuban Sandwich Festival, the longest Cuban sandwich that's going to be made. I'm going to be in the house covering the VIPs. It's going to be great times, great fun, and I'm excited about it. At $1 place, it's going to be awesome. So even more so of a reason, Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. So delicious and addicting. You may need a support group. Make sure you visit Chef G's right there at beautiful Tampa, Florida. Get them right there. Right there, 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. And if you can't come down to Tampa, you can come down to flbbqsauce.com. And it's flbbqsauce.com. Make sure you support this wonderful sauce. 4 great flavors. Classic, heat wave, honey mustard infusion. He has Florida sand and he has rub. Delicioso. Delicious. Check it out. In fact, we're going to go ahead and play another wonderful San Scola songs right now. It's none other than Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce song here on the Alford Sports Talk Show. Let's go.
Comes in 4 varieties. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, a natural flavor. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce, Florida gold honey mustard on burgers and ribs. Tasty fusion on pork and sausage. Classic taste for chicken steak tips. A hot heat wave on meatballs and ham. It's a cookout treat. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Serve on fish and vegetables. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce. Chef G's Florida barbecue sauce.
Chef G's Florida Barbecue Sauce. So delicious and addicting. You may need a support group. Definitely don't forget to check out Chef G's right there at 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. Again, that's 301 South 22nd Street, Tampa, Florida. Or visit them at flbbqsauce.com. Again, it's flbbqsauce.com. Outstanding sauce. You deserve it. So, yes, and definitely really appreciate Chef G's. Make sure you guys don't forget to get that sauce. I want to thank all of our great callers for checking in here with the Alford Sports Talk Show. It's awesome. You know, I thank you guys, man. You know, I'm a person who appreciates the good times. So I think that's the problem with a lot of people is that they don't appreciate the good times enough. You had a great run. You know, if you're a part of the TNT cast, it was a fantastic run, extremely successful. But in life, nothing lasts forever. Hall of Fame is a perfect example of that. As great as Ken Griffey Jr. is, as great as Joe Tomey and all the other players are, they didn't play forever. It had a shelf life. And now they get to come to Cooperstown and enjoy outstanding times and parade and much more. But it's different. They're not playing anymore. Fortunately, nothing stays the same in business. Having said that, we're going to keep praying that you guys keep your interest and keep loving on the Alford Sports Talk Show. Really appreciate you guys. You're awesome. Appreciate every minute of it. Thank you to all our great callers. Thank you so much to Lou and Diane. Thank you to Sandra Kimbrell. Let me show that again for you guys. That is, let me see here. First game in Olympics is USA versus Venezuela. Japan, Taiwan, USA, Canada, Venezuela, and Mexico will battle for the trophy. And let me see if there's anything else here. I get everything here. 2024 Women's Baseball World Cup begins Sunday in Thunder Bay, Canada. It's Thunder Bay, Canada. Awesome. So make sure you guys be blessed, be well, take care of yourself. Thank you so much for listening to another wonderful episode of the Alford Sports Talk Show. Want to thank the Tampa Bay Bucks, Brian Ford. Thank the National Baseball Hall of Fame. You guys are fantastic. Awesome. Much more to come. Really appreciate you guys on the Alford Sports Talk Show. We're going to end the show with the Sam Scola song, and it's going to be awesome. Be blessed, be well. Until we meet again, have a great night and a great weekend. Take care for now.
It's the end of the show.